maybe Corey, I'll do a quick introduction. You can do a quick introduction, and then then I'll talk, and then you'll talk, and then we can have some questions or something. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, cool. So really quick, my name's Brendan. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. I'm the co-founder and COO of Knak. And you're going to learn a little bit about our platform today. Hopefully not from me mostly. You're mostly going to hear from one of our best customers, Citrix, which is Corey. So I'll let Corey quickly introduce himself.
Hey, thanks, Brendan. Everyone hear me okay? Yeah, so I am Corey Riley. I am the solutions lead at Citrix in our marketing operations department. And so, yeah, I'm here to talk about how we do email over at Citrix and how things have progressed over the last few years.
Awesome.
Also, I'm a Texas local, born and raised, so that's a plus, right?
Definitely.
Sure.
Nice. I'm not a Texan, but I'm a Canadian. So everybody loves Canadians, right? So.
Hey.
Hey, everyone loves Canadians, eh? Nice. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and I'll get started. Just going to do a bit of an intro to myself and kind of, about myself and why we kind of started Knak. And then, again, I won't talk too much. Hopefully, I'll pass it over to Corey, the real star of the show here. So we're going to talk a little bit about scaling email creation for Marketo specifically today. So a couple of things that I'm going to go through, and then we'll pass it to Corey. But 4 things, really simple. Number 1, my story, kind of where I came from. Hopefully that builds a little bit of credibility with you guys, because I know I right now probably don't have any based on the jokes I've already kind of told you guys. So number 2, I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I hear specifically from Marketo customers. In my role at Knak, I'm lucky I get to talk to customers that we have, hundreds of Marketo customers, but also talk to a lot of prospective Marketo customers as well. So I probably talked to, I want to say, maybe 1,000 Marketo customers this year. So I'm excited to kind of give you a bit of an overview of what I'm hearing from Marketo customers specifically, and you guys can confirm or deny that you're experiencing those things as well. And number 3, really quick, I'm just going to flash up like our email creation maturity model. Basically, we took all the things that we hear from Marketo customers and we kind of try to place them on a bit of a model. So you guys might be able to actually identify kind of where you are in that maturity model specifically for email creation for Marketo. And then I'm not really going to talk much about Knak. I'm going to let Corey do all that. And he's got a lot of fun things to say. So, all right. So just really quick, I started my career at one of the world's biggest companies, IBM, and it was kind of the Cognos, the business intelligence part of the world there. And I was doing enterprise marketing there. As you can imagine, this was my kind of entry level job into enterprise marketing. I did campaign marketing and product marketing there. We were actually an early adopter of Eloqua at the time, back in the day. I don't think IBM uses Eloqua anymore. Actually, I think they might even use Marketo now. So definitely lived that world for a little while early on in my career. Then I jumped into a tiny startup company with maybe 60 or 70 employees, which went on to eventually get acquired and that kind of thing. But I was doing product marketing there, and I was kind of the lead product marketer, and actually worked really closely with the demand gen team, which is actually was one of the co-founders here at Knak, our CEO. And that's kind of where we worked together. But I worked really closely with them. They actually were one of Marketo's first ever customers. This was back in, oh my gosh, I want to say 2011, 10, something like that. So quite a while ago. Then after that, experienced Marketo kind of from the ground floor there. Went over to another kind of mid-size enterprise company called Trend Micro, kind of a mid-size security software company. And I actually started, I did the Marketo implementation there globally and kind of stood up the marketing operations practice at Trend Micro. So I learned a ton there. I learned a lot about Marketo in particular. I learned a lot about marketing operations, which I hadn't really kind of touched before. So love to chat with Marketo customers. I'm super excited to talk to all of you today because I feel like even though you're probably all way smarter than I am, I've kind of lived a couple of days in your shoes. So anyway, looking forward to chatting with you about that. And then after that, of course, now, co-founded Knak and we kind of really have set out to solve this problem and some of the pains that I was experiencing personally throughout my entire career. And certainly things that I bumped up against when I implemented Marketo and tried to get the kind of the processes and teams together there at that company. So let's talk a little bit about what we hear from Marketo customers. I personally hear these things almost every single day. Happy to, if you guys want to comment or have any questions here, happy to chat here. Love this to be kind of interactive, but really number one off the top, templates, right? We all know and love templates. Coding those templates, if you're going down the template route with Marketo, coding the templates is really hard, right? You guys, maybe some of you on the call find it easy. I have a feeling, the majority of the world find it difficult. And I know a lot of organizations end up, sending that work out to an external agency, sometimes at great cost. Sometimes it can take weeks or even months to code out these templates. And even then, as you guys know, probably if you're dealing with Marketo templates, using templates in the Marketo editor, can have mixed reviews, right? Sometimes it's not always kind of the easiest thing, even for like the world's best coded templates. Things can get tough, in that kind of scenario. So another thing that I hear from a lot of Marketo customers in relation to email is that their users are going rogue in email, in Marketo, excuse me. So the things that they're doing in Marketo, even outside of email is, a little scary or can make them nervous certainly for marketing operations people. But another big problem for not just operations people, but also brand people and things like that is their users can essentially do anything in Marketo, right? Even in relation to emails, they can kind of remove code and they can upload their own HTML. They can go in and break things in the template by accident or on purpose. And, those kinds of things, they can go way off brand and create just some general problems and even like rendering issues and things like that using the Marketo editor. Another thing I hear a lot from ops teams is that they're absolutely overwhelmed. I feel like you guys are all probably nodding your heads here at this point if you're marketing ops people yourselves. Marketing ops teams are overwhelmed. They have so much to do. You guys are really busy. I know my team, was constantly dealing with not just, training users and things like that, but also kind of carving out time to make sure their data management campaigns were working properly. Execution was going well, leads were routing to the right place and all that stuff, let alone spending time troubleshooting someone's HTML code for their email to get out that has to be out, yesterday, right? So those are the kinds of things that we hear, marketing ops teams just don't want to deal with anymore is things, and let's call a spade, troubleshooting HTML code in an email, probably relatively low value work, right? You guys your time is probably worth a lot more than that, especially you guys, you're a lot smarter than I am. So, that time is super valuable. You know, troubleshooting tags and things like that in HTML code is likely not a great use of your time. The next thing we hear a lot of is we actually want to get people out of our Marketo instance, and that's you know, again, probably what's causing the first 3 bullet points that I was talking about is, you know, casual Marketo users or untrained, or maybe, you know, we all know how our users can be really forgetful for, you know, what they should be doing in the platform. You know, those users can create problems, right? They can create problems in your Marketo instance. They can put things in the wrong folder tree. They can, you know, name programs wrong. They can, you know, again, break emails and, you know, that kind of fun stuff. Or they can even execute a campaign, right? Perhaps if you you know, are letting them do that kind of thing, you know, and they could be doing that kind of thing in error. So we hear a lot of that as well from ops teams in particular, that they're just kind of constantly firefighting. They're constantly having to train and retrain users in Marketo, and they're kind of fed up. They just want those kind of casual or people who maybe don't need to have Marketo access. They want them out of their Marketo instance, right? So that they can focus on what's important and only have people they trust inside their Marketo instance. And then the other thing we hear, especially recently, right? Of course, we're trying to cut costs, right? We're trying to kind of run leaner. We're trying to move faster. We're trying to, you know, save money during COVID-19 and beyond, of course. So again, that's something that we hear a lot from customers. So any thoughts? Does any of this resonate with any of you guys today on the call? Corey, I see your hand up. Yeah.
Definitely. I see a lot of clients, with the same goals for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's so easy for other internal people to just go rogue and start changing the email, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, the format has it's off, and it doesn't look good anymore. So then you have to go fix it, and that's the time you don't want to be spending during your day to fix an email that someone else changed.
For sure. Yeah, thanks, Julie. Yeah, definitely. Right on. Any other thoughts, comments? Anyone love troubleshooting HTML code? No? Okay, see a couple. Okay, great. Good stuff. All right. So here's our maturity model. This is kind of, again, based on all those, the customers that we're talking to, Marketo customers in particular. They seem to kind of, you know, be in one of these kind of pillars here. So down on the far bottom left there in red, ad hoc. Believe it or not, you guys, again, on the call are likely more sophisticated than this, but I still today talk with Marketo customers who are hand coding emails. Yes, it's true. It happens. It still happens. A lot of times they have, you know, like sectioned off a group of the IT team where they're able to, you know, flip email designs over to, and they're kind of hand coding them for them, or they've hired an expensive email developer, or they're actually just outsourcing every single email, right? They're sending email designs and copy and things like that to an agency, and the agency is hand coding every single email and getting them back to them, and then they're putting it into Marketo and going from there. So you guys know all of the problems with that kind of scenario, right? Time consuming, expensive, you know, very code based, all of that kind of stuff. And of course, you know, editability not possible most times there, right? Especially in the Marketo editor, unless you know HTML. You know, approval process. You know, we hear customers, they are so frustrated with dealing with an agency back and forth, and they get an email back and it's not quite what they want. And they have to kind of, in a new email, type like, hey, that third paragraph, you know, section 2, the period is, you know, there's a space before the period. It shouldn't be there. Like that kind of thing, that back and forth is just awful, not a lot of fun. And of course, you're limited for kind of creativity, what you can actually do with your email designs and those kinds of things. The second is templates. This is what we see most often. Certainly, customers are using maybe the out-of-the-box Marketo templates sometimes. Those can be maybe a great starting point, but a lot of customers are outsourcing the creation to an agency, getting templates hand-coded, custom coded to be editable in the Marketo editor. I put that in quotation marks, guys, but you guys know why I did that. So not only is that kind of process, that creation of the templates, kind of time consuming, expensive, difficult, but also templates, as you guys know, they're not a lot of fun to use, even in the Marketo editor. Again, with like the world's most best coded templates, they can be really niggly. It's kind of hard to edit in Marketo. It causes problems. Users get into trouble all the time, rendering, et cetera, et cetera. Not only that, they're coded once, right? They're coded, if you guys get a set of templates coded today, that's great. They probably will render across every email client that's out there today. But if tomorrow Outlook 2021 comes out, what happens to those templates? So they likely either have to be tweaked to render properly in Outlook 2021, or they have to be recoded in order to do that. Or you guys go through a rebrand, right? That happens a lot. Rebrand activities. Some customers I talk to, that happens like once a year or twice a year for them, right? And what happens to your templates? They're irrelevant, right? You have to start that whole process over again. So the next stage here we see, and I'm going to pass it over to Corey here in just a minute, but is advanced templates in the green. Advanced templates is, I would say, really firmly where Citrix was before adopting Knak. I'm going to let Corey tell you a little bit more about that. But we see this a lot as well at kind of really kind of sophisticated organizations where they have maybe highly tokenized templates. They've even done some customization where it allows them to add or remove modules from their templates. A lot of times I come across the one template to rule them all strategy, right? Which is kind of, they have every single module that could ever possibly be used by a user in their huge long template, and they've kind of spent months and months typically coding out this to make sure it's perfect, and even making things adjustable and colors and things like that for their users. And it takes a long time, and it's again, a huge amount of investment into those templates. And then you still have the same problems though as the previous step here with regular templates. If you guys go through a rebrand activity or something, a new email client comes out tomorrow, those templates, they kind of got to go in the garbage, right? They all that effort to kind of make that perfect and editable and all that kind of fun stuff kind of goes out the window. So I'll let Corey tell you more about that. But again, and that last part, of course, that's email creation platform. We see a lot of companies now really excited about adopting an email creation platform just to make everything easier. And really, the only thing I'm going to say about that, because that's what we are, of course, email creation platform. The only thing I'm going to say about this is all of the things like templates, the need for templates, the need to manage and update templates and maintain them, all goes away with an email creation platform. And not only that, the Marketo editor actually goes away as well. You actually don't need to use the Marketo editor for anything anymore. So again, I'm gonna let Corey talk about that. This is a customer slide, but Citrix is in there, one of our most important customers. But we've got hundreds and hundreds of Marketo customers that are using our platform to create emails for Marketo specifically. And some of them have hundreds of users, kind of like Citrix. And they're extending that capability to their end users to create emails that are on brand, on message, and will always render perfectly, always mobile responsive, all the stuff that will give you headaches today, especially with templates or hand coding. All that goes away. So with that, I'm just going to pass it over to Corey to tell you a little bit more. But actually, before I do that, any questions at all for me? Cool. Comments, good jokes? Okay. Great.
I wish I had a joke. I can't.
Over to you, Corey.
All right. Thanks, Brendan. Well, let me get started to share my screen here. 1 second. Let me know when you can see my beautiful PowerPoint here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Brendan. One thing I need to do is I need to send you our new logo. Citrix has rebranded as of the 15th of this month.
Oh yeah. I knew
So
that. All right.
yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So anyways, thanks everyone for having me. I'm Corey Riley, the solutions lead at Citrix. And I want to talk to you how we transformed our email creation process. I mean, not that long ago. I've been with marketing operations for about 6 years, but it has rapidly changed over the last couple of years with the use of Knak. So I am going to talk a little bit about how our legacy process, but ultimately we wanted to self-enable our users to be able to create their own emails. And so, you have to ask yourself, you have to balance, what do we need to balance with flexibility and control? And what does that look like? I mean, for different companies, it looks different, but for us, we know that if we were to provide more flexibility, which is, highly creative, agile, meaning people can create things quickly, and we're able to customize things pretty much in any way we need to. If we were to tip that scale, we lose control, right? We're able, in an old process, the creativity is stifled. If we balance or tip the scale for control, there's no scalability, no support for custom HTML. And if we were to tip it the other way, whereas we were to provide more control, we lose the inconsistency of our brand standard emails. It's high risk and it's definitely not scalable. So you can see, like, things are literally the opposite if we were to tip the scales in those directions. So when I came on, we were doing completely custom emails, myself and a few others. Actually, Rich Deacon, he's on this call. So Rich, you got to keep me honest. We were doing completely custom HTML emails, and basically we had a boilerplate template with snippets, and we would, put in images and content and things. And so that's a nightmare for anyone, right? It takes someone knowing HTML. They got to know what they're doing. And so we knew that was something we did not want to continue doing, because again, when you're sending out 50 plus emails a week, that is just not, it's hard to scale. You can't scale using this model. So with the release of Marketo, the email editor 2.0, that made things a little better. We had more control, obviously, but we had like one template. We were able to go in to Marketo and brand one of their templates that they provided and just added a bunch of tokens. But the problem with this is we only had a few Marketo users. Like Brendan said, we have to keep Marketo, we have to keep people out of there just because we don't want a whole lot of users going in there and doing things that they don't know how to do, or it's easy to mess something up. So again, we only had a handful of people that were able to create these types of emails, which this is a lot easier than hand coding, but someone has to, especially if there's a custom module or something in the email the editor 2.0 template, we would have to take that master template and customize it. So that again requires someone with a knowledge of HTML and now the knowledge of the Marketo code that was released with the email editor. So to balance the two, we found Knak. Knak is able to provide the end user with a modular based system where you build your email, basically just blocks, you drag and drop. You can create these different modules. You can drag these modules into your email, or what we encourage our users to do is to build from a theme. And so what a theme is essentially a template of different modules that are placed on top of each other, like you see on the right-hand side of the screen. So that's our current process today. So we went from 2 people coding emails to maybe about 6 or 7 people creating Marketo emails with the use of tokens, to now over 80 people in our marketing operations all over the world that are creating emails in 10 different languages, from English, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, I mean, you name it. All over the world, people are creating these emails. And so I've used the expression that I can sleep better at night because I don't have to, this enables users and makes my job easier, and it makes their job easier, and it gives users a sense of ownership, like they've created this email with one click and they own it. So yeah, I guess I say I sleep better at night, just knowing that I'm able to help these people that and support them and their needs. So our old legacy process, I just want to kind of briefly go over this because this is really important, because we're able to take some of these columns out, and therefore the workflow is not as lengthy, and the turnaround time is a lot faster as well. So prior to today, what it looked like is a user or a marketer would request an email to be filled out or to be created, and so they would request that to us. Someone on our team would take this document, basically like a Word document. We would fill those tokens out, build it, and then we would send that email for an approval and get to the marketer, get feedback. If there was any changes, which almost 99% of the time there were changes, so we would have to go back into Marketo, update the token or the image or whatever it is, send it back to the requester. And sometimes that happened 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And as you can see, that just creates a lot of swirl. And so therefore, sometimes the email was pushed because of timelines and things. So once it was approved, then our team would again build the audience, launch it in Marketo, and then we could measure the success or the campaign performance in Marketo. So that was pre-Knak, not that long ago. And what it looks like today with the self-service model, 80 plus users in there creating emails, in Knak creating emails. They're able to go in there, build their email with the themes, and they can, again, drag those modules into those emails however they want to make it look. We do have a set of standard blueprints, meaning like we don't want the Citrix header at the very bottom, or we use themes as a guide. But anyways, they're able to create their emails. They actually can QA these emails themselves, and I'll share a little bit more about this in 1 second. So with the use of a feature that Knak has, you're able to provide a QA workflow so that they can send to whomever would need to QA the email. And then if they have to make changes, they're right there in the platform. They can do it themselves. And then they provide it to us, and it's sent out via Marketo. So I wanted to go over a few features. Since we adopted Knak, I think it's very important to highlight some of the things that really kind of make things easier for us. The first one is image hosting with folder permissions. So this was when we first started using Knak, this really wasn't a feature. And anyone could get into the image library and kind of upload things and move things around. However, Knak has hit it out of the ballpark, enabling, you can lock down these folders so we can hide them. You can apply read and write permissions to specific users. So that's how we are able to kind of segment our images out that way. So like if I'm just a quote unquote builder, not an admin, I wouldn't actually see all of these folders because some of them are hidden. And my computer's being slow. There we go. Okay, approval groups and workflows. So this is a great feature that I know that we use. Sometimes we have to have different levels of approvals. So let's say an email gets built and we need person A to approve it, and then we need person B to approve it. You can set things up in that way so that person A can approve it, and then it goes to person B. They have to approve it. Or you can set it up to where person A or person B can approve it. I hope that makes sense. So that way, if person A is like out on PTO or they're sick or something, person B can still approve the email to be sent out. Brands. So this is great for, we use it internally for how to segment users, but advertising agencies, this is how I would segment my different clients, right? You could set things up this way as well. But we segment our users based on either the team that they're on or the geo that they are assigned to. So we're able to segment them in this way. And also Citrix has different products. We've got Podio and ShareFile. We could treat those as a brand on their own. Okay, this is a huge one. When users are creating an email, it's really easy to mess something up, especially if you're either hand coding or using the Marketo email editor, or even something like the B editor. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the B editor. However, this allows all the modules, any item within Knak, you can set user restrictions. So if you don't want to change a user to be able to change the background color, the text size, any colors, any images, you can create restrictions for everything. And you can really lock things down. So I used this screenshot for an example. You can see the section color, which is that lighter gray, the content color, which is a little bit darker. I have those locked so that users can't actually update those colors. This prevents a lot of people from going rogue and going off brand, which is a huge deal for us, making sure that we are able to standardize and stay on brand for everyone and for every item, for every module, every theme. So this is a great feature. It takes time to be able to, go in and do that. But once you've done all the legwork, it definitely, it'll save you in the long run for as far as people going rogue. And then last, this is a new feature. It's a super awesome feature that Knak has just rolled out. You're able to create Marketo programs and sync an email all at once. So if I want to sync an email, I can actually create the program right there in the Knak platform, and it creates the program in Marketo and syncs the asset all at once, and it works perfectly. So I wanted to call that out, Brendan. This is a super awesome feature. And I see something that says coming soon. You're able to schedule your email right within the platform. So I don't believe that's a feature yet, but I want to call that out, Brendan.
Yep.
That's correct, right?
I think it is actually available now.
Is
we
it?
can enable it for you guys if you're curious. But yeah, you can actually schedule, like set a date and time for the
Oh, wow.
program to execute.
Well, we can definitely offline that. So that would be a cool feature for us. So yeah, I know I went through that really fast, and that's a lot of information to throw at you guys. But if you have any organization, large or small, it's just easy. Knack it's just easy, and it's a great platform that you can self-enable your users or anyone in your marketing department or across the business to go in and create their own emails. Now, granted, you have to have someone like myself or a team of people to be the admins, be your brand police or your email police or whatever. But Knack makes things easy for you to be able to control everything. So huge kudos to you, Brendan. I had no clue that you were co-creator of the platform. Me and Rich were talking about that on the side. So yeah, super amazing tool. And I want to call out too that it's not just something that it's been almost 2 years since we've adopted, a year and a half, something like that. It hasn't stayed the same since we've adopted the platform. They are constantly changing and making things better. So it's something that they're aware of. They're making our jobs easier, right? So anytime I've ever requested some sort of feature, they've nailed it right on the head. We just went through a rebrand project with Citrix, so our logos, colors, image photography, and everything has changed. And Knack was easy for me to be able to go in and create new modules, create new themes, and with just a switch of a button, turn off the old email themes and turn on the new branded themes. I mean, it took took time to create the themes, but as far as switching them on and off for the end user, as far as even the photography, it took less than 5 minutes for me to go in and do that. So yeah, that is and here's the new logo with a cool little animation.
Very fancy. I like it. Okay, cool. We'll open it up for questions. I have one that's been at the tip of my tongue for a little while. Corey, how was implementation on your end? Was your team receptive to creating emails now? Like that's more on, the requester to do now versus the MOPS team. How was that? If you could just touch on that a little bit.
So yes, I would say that there was a lot of pushback from saying here's a tool for you to be able to create your own emails, when in the past we were doing it for them. There was some pushback, but in rolling it out and training the users and them seeing how easy it is, seeing, oh, I have a lot more flexibility, a lot more options than what I had prior to this. Sure, I'll do this. I can create an email in 10 minutes.
Right.
Whereas if I were to request something, it would take, the turnaround time was 5 days or something before they even saw something, just because of the amount of requests that was coming in. So I think once users see the platform and they see how easy it is, then their mindset definitely changes.
Yeah, and I think even edits and stuff, that even takes okay, your edits will be processed in 48 hours, because of just the sheer volume, I'm sure. So I'm sure people are happy that they can get it done faster at a faster pace.
To speak to that, we would have a team come to us, and we'll say it's a nurture emails that are ongoing. In the past, they would have to request an update. We would make the update. And like you said, it could be another 4 or 5 days before we got to that update. So they're able to go in to Knack, make the updates themselves, and then resync that email to Marketo, and they're not relying on someone else to do it for them.
And is your approval process, are the approvers on the MOPS team, like Marketo users, or the approvers on the requesters team?
So it's a little bit of both. I would say as far as content goes, the approvers are on the like our marketing field users. So, and then the internal, our marketing ops team members, I would say they're not really approving emails, but they're active in making sure that no one's going rogue. I mean, it's just kind of a last look. Hey, they didn't upload a Nike logo or something into the email. So I would say, but for the most part, it's outside of marketing ops getting emails approved.
All right, that's enough of me talking.
We have seen users try to use like images from Star Wars and Star Wars logos and things.
Yeah. Just try to play on some things and
right.
Yeah. Other questions, guys, feel free to come off mute or enter your questions in the chat. Sure, we have other ones.
I'm just now looking at the chat. So let's see. The first one, did you use Knak pre-built templates or your own? No, I did not use pre-built templates. You can take those and rebrand them in your own way. I didn't approach it like that. So yeah. Was there a lift in your email opens and clicks? That I can't really, I would say there was a lift in deliverability. I don't know about clicks and opens. And I believe that has to do with the image. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but all the images are hosted in the same server. When we provide images on our image library, we make sure that they're optimized and things. And so, okay, does Knak automatically make the email mobile ready? Or there's something manual. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen one more time, because I do want to I want to show this. This is a really cool feature within Knak. I'm gonna pull up an email real quick. Sorry, I have a million windows open. So, okay. Can you guys see my screen? You should see an email in Knak. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay, so somebody's asking, does Knak make the emails responsive? The answer is yes. And what's cool is you can actually preview that right within the tool. So you would click preview, and then you can see what it looks like, on the desktop. And then if I were to click mobile, everything scales. All the framework that Knak provides is all responsive. So yes, I just wanted to show that you can actually look and see what an email looks like. And again, these are fairly, I mean, they are 99% bulletproof. We test all of our modules and themes just to be sure, but rarely has there been something that doesn't look right. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay.
Hey, Corey, I have a quick question. This is Josh from Pure Storage. We've been using Knak for 2 years. Absolutely love it. As you mentioned, like they've made plenty of changes since we purchased the tool. So I always love the improvements. I'd be curious, whenever we test emails through Knak synced over to Marketo, everything looks perfect. But when we also send our HTMLs to folks to essentially send out to sales teams to distribute on their own, how do you control the issues that may come when folks send HTML through their own email provider like Gmail, Outlook?
we deal with this on a regular basis. So I have to be proactive in telling users, hey, look, we should not be sending marketing messagings from other than our team, right? If it's coming from sales, the email should look like it's coming from sales. Now, it's okay to reference an email with like a screenshot image or something of the email, but for us, it's non-compliant. We can't just, and all of our Knak emails are coded. I say they're coded. They're created with Marketo in mind. So we're using Marketo forward to friend links. We're using view in web browser links that will only work if it's sent out through Marketo. So if we shared these HTMLs, those links are automatically broken. So it's just one of these things, case by case. We discourage users from being able to do that. Now, I don't know if that's the right answer for you, but yeah.
No, I mean, I feel you there. It's just very hard to get them to change their mindset around that. So was looking for any guidance. Yeah.
It really is. And I've even had to, I've had to go above me and above others to say, hey, we need your support on this. And this is something that very recently has been discussed here at Citrix. And so, yeah, we discourage it, and we basically say you should not be doing this. I mean, really, you can't track unless they're sending from a platform that connects to Marketo and whatever CRM that you're using. Yeah, you don't know if you're sending the same messaging to a user more than once, which is spamming, and so that becomes non-compliant at that point. Great question, though. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah.
But you can share an email. You can download the HTML, or you can download a PDF, which is what I do. If a third party wants a reference, you can download the PDF and send the PDF to them.
Just a note on that real quick.
Cool, thanks.
We do have the ability to download HTML optimized for Outlook so that it renders perfectly when copied and pasted into Outlook and sent. Again, not a marketing best practice, but something that does happen. And we also built a Gmail plugin as well. So you can, if you're a Gmail shop, you can actually go through and pull your Knak emails into Gmail and have your salespeople send them from there. But again, still not trackable. All those issues still apply, but at least the emails will render really nicely.
I see one more question. How long did it take to implement Knak and train folks on using it? So for us, we rolled it out fairly slowly. We rolled it out to our internal team first, and made sure that, hey, be diligent and try to break something or see if something is not looking right to you. So we did take it in phases, and I would say, I cannot remember, maybe a month or two in that aspect. And then once we were to get feedback, fix anything, make changes, then we would roll it out to a certain region, like the Americas region or something. And then same thing, hey, use this tool, provide feedback. I would hold a weekly office hour for those that are brand new to the tool. Anytime we roll something out brand new, we always hold a weekly office hours for people to be able to come and ask questions and things. And so it did take some time to implement it, but I think, I would say don't roll it out all at once, because then especially if you have, dozens of users, I would do a kind of a slow release to certain users, get feedback, make changes, and then roll it out to others in that way. And getting feedback is something that, is a constant thing for us. So we're always asking, especially our internal teams, hey, please provide feedback if you're getting users saying, hey, I'd like to see more of this, then we can go in and create it if it makes sense.
Right. No, just a couple minutes left. Any last questions? If we don't get to your question or anything, yeah, please feel free to pass through me or connect with Corey and Brendan via LinkedIn or community or something. I'm sure they'll be happy to take questions.
Sorry, I'm seeing a few others. Regarding landing pages in Knak, that's not something that we use. So Brendan, I would pass that baton over to you.
Yeah, I mentioned in the chat there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on landing pages. It's coming later this year. We're pretty excited about that. And so in the meantime, we offer a nice big library of Marketo coded templates for landing pages that you can have as part of your subscription.
And as far as, do you have to upload items in Design Studio? No, you don't. Knak does it for you as far as the email templates themselves. When you sync an email to Marketo, you specify where you want it to live in Design Studio. And then Knak also hosts all the images and things. Yeah. Rich, we've come a long ways from hand coding templates. I hope we never have to go back to that.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're at time. Again, if you have any more questions, just reach out to me or Corey and Brendan. I'll make sure their contact information is in the follow-up with the recording. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye.